I wish I could say I saw it coming, that I picked up on the signs, or at least that little voice in the back of my mind had warned me. But the truth? I invited the snake into my home with open arms and she smiled back like she loved me. Her name was Camila. She was my husband's niece. His brother and sister-in-law died in a tragic car crash. I still remember the way his hands shook when he picked up that call. We flew out the next day, attended the funeral, and barely spoke. The whole family was shattered. She was only 19, lost, pale, quiet. When Lucas suggested that Camila come live with us for a while, I didn't hesitate. I hugged her. I told her she could stay as long as she needed, that this house was her home now. God, I meant every word. I cleared out my home office and turned it into a bedroom for her. Bought her new bedding, set up fairy lights around the window, even stocked her favorite snacks in the kitchen. She barely spoke at first, but I didn't take it personally. Grief does that to people. What I didn't know is that grief wasn't the only thing she was hiding. Back then, I saw her as a wounded bird, fragile, needing protection. I remember one evening in particular. It was raining hard, and Lucas was stuck at work. I made tea for us and sat with Camila on the couch, watching a dumb reality show. She smiled genuinely for what felt like the first time since she moved in. I felt this weird rush of pride, like I was helping her heal, like I was doing something right. I didn't know it then, but that was the same week Lucas started getting too tired for intimacy. Started sleeping on the edge of the bed, saying he was stressed, that work was crazy. I believed him. Of course I did. He was my husband. We'd been together for 8 years, married for 5. Our lives weren't perfect, but I truly believed we were solid. We laughed. We cooked together. We talked about adopting a dog next summer. So when the distance started growing between us, I blamed myself. Maybe I'd let myself go. Maybe he was just overwhelmed. Maybe I wasn't trying hard enough. The first real crack appeared on a random Wednesday. I came home from work early. My manager had let us go after a system outage. I was thinking about making pasta. I walked into the bedroom to grab a hoodie, and there it was, on the floor, near the edge of the bed. Lacy. Black. Definitely not mine. I picked it up, confused more than anything. I checked the label. A small. I'm a medium. And suddenly, my blood went cold. I remember standing there for a full minute, just frozen. Like my brain refused to connect the dots. Lucas wasn't home yet. Camila had supposedly gone to the campus library. I stood there holding that stupid little piece of fabric, trying to make sense of it. Maybe it was old. Maybe it had gotten mixed up in the laundry. Maybe, but it smelled like perfume. Not mine. A scent I didn't recognize. Sweet and heavy, almost nauseating. I don't know how long I stood there, but by the time Lucas got home, I had already hidden the underwear in my drawer. I didn't confront him. I didn't say a word. I just smiled and asked how his day was. But inside, something had shifted. And I wasn't sure I wanted to know the answer to the question that was starting to form in my chest like a slow, sickening burn. Was I living with my husband's mistress? After that night, something inside me snapped. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't confront anyone. I observed. I became a quiet shadow in my own house. Watching. Listening. Waiting for the truth to show itself because deep down, I already knew. I just needed proof. I started noticing the smallest things. Camila's perfume, for one. She never used to wear any. But now, every day, it clung to the air, the exact same sweet, musky scent I'd smelled on the underwear. She claimed it was a gift from a friend. I smiled and told her it suited her. Lucas, meanwhile, got even more distant. He stopped kissing me goodbye, stopped texting during the day, said he was exhausted all the time. I offered massages, movie nights, a weekend getaway. He always had an excuse. But when Camila entered the room, he lit up. He laughed at her jokes, gave her that soft, affectionate look he used to reserve for me. Once, I saw him reach out and brush a strand of hair from her face. He flinched when he realized I was watching. The worst part? Camila acted like nothing was happening. She was sweet, helpful. She'd clean the kitchen without being asked. She'd ask me about my day. She even started baking, always trying new recipes and asking Lucas to taste them first. They were building a bubble right in front of me, and I was the ghost inside it. I started keeping notes, times, dates, things they said. I went through the browser history on the shared laptop, nothing obvious. But I found a search for a hotel near his office. Booked once, cancelled. Camila didn't have a car. She wasn't working. She didn't go out much. But one Friday afternoon, I noticed a rideshare notification on her phone. She'd left it on the kitchen counter. I tapped the screen. The ride was to the same hotel Lucas had searched. The pickup time? Same window he claimed he had back-to-back meetings. I nearly dropped the phone. That night, I couldn't sleep. I laid there, staring at the ceiling, while Lucas snored beside me. I wondered what kind of person I had married. What kind of monster would sleep with the girl who called him uncle growing up? And what kind of girl would do that to someone who took her in like family? I wanted to scream. I wanted to wake him up and throw him out of the house. I wanted to drag her into the living room and force her to explain herself. But I didn't. Instead, I got up. I went to the bathroom, closed the door, and sobbed into a towel, because I didn't want either of them to hear me fall apart. That was the moment I stopped being the victim. That was the night I started planning. I wasn't going to let them destroy me in my own home. But I wasn't going to lose my dignity either. No, if I was going to burn this down, I'd make sure they never saw the match coming. The next morning, I made pancakes, smiled, poured coffee, laughed when Lucas made a joke about the syrup being too runny. Camila sat across from me, barefoot in one of my old t-shirts, her hair in a messy bun. She looked relaxed, comfortable, as if she hadn't spent the previous afternoon sneaking off to a hotel with my husband. I played my part so well, even I almost believed it. But inside, I was ice. That week, I bought a small voice recorder. I hid it under the couch cushions, right where they usually sat when I wasn't around. I set it to start whenever it picked up voices. Then I waited. Every day, I made up an excuse to leave the house. Groceries, gym, a quick coffee run. Then I came back, downloaded the files and listened. The first few days? Nothing major. Casual conversation, silences, a little too much laughter from Camila, a soft compliment from Lucas. But on day 4, I hit gold. Camila's voice, low and sweet. She's too busy playing house to notice anything. It's almost sad. Lucas chuckling. I told you, she wants everything to be perfect. Always has. It's like, she sees what she wants, not what's real. Camila. Good. Then we don't have to pretend so hard. I paused the audio. My hands were shaking. It wasn't just betrayal. It was mockery. They were laughing at me, at my kindness, at how easily I'd welcomed her into my home and my marriage. I replayed that sentence. She sees what she wants, not what's real. She was right, but not for the reason she thought. Because what I wanted now was revenge. And what was real was that I had time, patience, and now, evidence. Over the next 2 weeks, I built my case like a lawyer preparing for court. I installed a hidden camera in the living room. I checked the laundry baskets more carefully once. I found another pair of underwear shoved behind the washing machine. Camila's size. Same brand. Same scent. I started transferring files to a folder named Work Budget just in case Lucas ever got curious. He didn't. Of course not. He thought he'd won. He thought I was soft, blind, pathetic. But one night, while he and Camila were in the kitchen laughing over a bottle of wine, I was in the bedroom, listening to a new recording. Camila, what if she finds out? Lucas, she won't. And even if she does, she'll never do anything. You don't know her like I do. That made me pause. He really believed I was weak, that I'd swallow the betrayal and keep the peace, that I'd rather be humiliated than alone. But that's the thing about being underestimated. It gives you space to prepare, and I was almost ready. The next step was simple. I had to let him dig his own grave. So I waited. I let the recordings pile up. Every smirk, every joke, every whisper they thought I couldn't hear, I kept it all. And then, I gave Lucas what he wanted most. Peace. I started being extra sweet. I packed his lunches again, left little notes in his bag, asked about his day with genuine curiosity. He didn't flinch. In fact, he seemed relieved. Like he believed the storm had passed. Like he'd successfully deceived me and I'd gone back to being the clueless, loving wife. And Camila, she started pushing boundaries, wearing my jewelry, using my shampoo. Once, I even caught her walking into our bedroom while I was still in it. She laughed it off, said she was looking for her phone. But I saw the way her eyes scanned the room like she already belonged there. I played dumb. The night before everything changed, I planned a little dinner. Just the 3 of us. Candlelight, wine, good food. I wanted them relaxed. I needed their guards down. They ate and laughed and toasted to family. Camila even leaned in and said, "You're honestly like a sister to me." I smiled so hard my cheeks hurt. And then, after dinner, Lucas stayed back to help me clean. That's when I said it. You know, I've been thinking a lot lately. He looked up, half distracted. About what? He asked. I shrugged. About how things used to be. About trust, loyalty, boundaries. He froze for just a second. Barely noticeable. I dried my hands and looked him in the eye. Do you think people can really change? He hesitated, then gave the most rehearsed answer I'd ever heard. I think people grow. Sometimes they outgrow things. I tilted my head. Like marriages? He blinked. What? Never mind, I said, laughing it off, just being dramatic. But I saw it, the flicker of panic behind his eyes. He knew I knew something, but not how much. That night, I slept like a baby. Because the very next morning, I took my evidence, the recordings, the photos, the notes and handed them over to a lawyer. Yes, I was ready to end it, but not before one last move. Something that would remind them both. I wasn't weak. I was patient, and they'd mistaken my silence for ignorance. Now, it was time to speak. I told them I wanted to celebrate Camila's college scholarship. That it was long overdue for us to do something special together. She lit up like a child on Christmas morning. Lucas played along, probably relieved that I was still clinging to my role as the oblivious wife. I booked a beautiful little restaurant downtown, quiet, upscale, full of natural light. The kind of place where people lower their voices and watch their manners. It was perfect. I wore white. Camila showed up in a tight red dress, all smiles and innocent eyes. Lucas was relaxed, cracking jokes, sipping his mimosa like he didn't have a single secret in the world. I waited until dessert. The waiter placed a little cake in front of Camila, with congratulations, written in chocolate. That's when I handed each of them a gift bag. They looked confused, but curious. Camila opened hers first. Inside? A USB drive, a printed transcript of one of their conversations, and the black lace underwear I had found in my bedroom. Her face went pale. Lucas opened his next. Same USB, same transcript, but his came with divorce papers already signed by me, ready to be filed. He stared at the papers for a long time. His lips parted, but no words came out. I leaned forward. I know everything, I said calmly. Every hotel, every laugh, every insult behind my back. Camila looked like she wanted to disappear. Lucas finally found his voice. It wasn't what it looked like. I raised an eyebrow. So the voice recordings lied? The hotel receipts? Her underwear in my bed was a metaphor? He went silent. The table was quiet, except for the soft clinking of someone's fork a few tables away. I treated you like family, Camila, I said, turning to her. I gave you a home, and you repaid me by sleeping with my husband. She opened her mouth, but I cut her off. I don't want an apology. I don't even want an explanation. I just wanted you to know I saw everything. I heard everything. And I'm not the one who should be ashamed. Then I stood up, picked up my purse, and walked out. I didn't look back. Not even when I heard Camila's voice breaking into sobs. Not even when Lucas called my name. Because that part of my life, it was over. But my story, it still had one chapter left. The drive home was quiet, peaceful, even. I rolled the windows down, let the wind hit my face. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe without something pressing on my chest. When I got home, I took one last walk through the house. Or no, my home. I had already arranged everything. Lucas would be served officially the next morning. Camila had no legal claim to anything, not even the guest room she'd turned into her little kingdom. The lawyer made sure of it. I left my ring on the kitchen counter, right beside the framed photo of our wedding day. Then I grabbed my suitcase packed days ago and walked out the door. I didn't slam it. I didn't cry. I just walked. And it was the loudest thing I'd ever done. In the weeks that followed, they tried to reach out. Of course they did. Lucas sent emails, texts, left voicemails that started with "I messed up" and ended with "Can we talk?" Camila tried too. A long message full of "I never meant to hurt you" and "I was just lost." I didn't respond to either of them. Not once. Because here's the truth. I'm not who I was when this began. That woman, the one who bent over backwards for everyone, who tried to fix what wasn't hers to fix, who stayed quiet just to keep the peace, she's gone. I don't miss her. I don't miss them. I wake up every day now in a small apartment that smells like fresh coffee and lavender. I'm learning how to be alone again and how to love it. I take long walks. I read in silence. I laugh with friends who never made me feel invisible. Some days still sting, but they pass. Because what hurts the most isn't losing someone. It's realizing they were never who you thought they were. And healing? It starts when you stop hoping for the apology that will never come. So no, I didn't scream. I didn't fight. I just left. And sometimes, that's the loudest thing you'll ever do.